Before you and I part company here on America Talks Live, it's time for a prime playback. As last night we had pollster John Zogby on Newsmax Prime, and we talked about the notion of still undecided voters in this particular campaign. But we began our conversation talking about Colorado and how that state could move center stage in the upcoming election.
Yeah, and we're just seeing the evidence now in the last few days. It was solidly in the blue column. A couple of weeks ago. At 9 or 10 points lead for Clinton. Now that lead has been dissipated and it's pretty much tied. It is a bifurcated state. So I mean, you do have conservatives and you have independent fiscal conservatives in Colorado. On the other hand, of course, you have a large and growing Latino population, and they've already shown that they will come out to vote in 2002 and in 2006 and 2012.
John, we have talked before about the different surveys post-election. Newsmax.com, for example, not scientific, but measuring intensity. A lot of Trump fans. But there was a poll done, a brushfire poll done last night with a random sample. That was done by Public Policy Polling. And when you take a look at that, more than half of the respondents believe Hillary Clinton outperformed Mr. Trump at the debate. The margin, 11 percentage points, 51% to 40%. Now, you have said, and in fact, you mentioned on our debate special last night, you really didn't think the polls would move in Hillary's direction just yet. Let's listen to the way you put it last night, and then now that you've had a day to reflect on it, see if it still stands.
I'm going to give her the edge. She was clearly prepared, although don't let anybody kid you, so was Donald Trump. He was very prepared to debate. I think that they had some real tough blows at each other, but in the final analysis, don't expect the polling points to move by the end of the week.
Yeah, so it takes a while. You stand by your assessment of last night.
I do indeed. Yeah, I don't. I think we're locked in, and I think both candidates are having a problem, persuading the late decision makers. And there wasn't anything last night. I don't think that moved any numbers significantly. No.
It used to be when we'd cover campaigns or we'd see the dominant media culture cover those campaigns, undecided voters at about this stage of the campaign were almost elevated to enlightened status because they were immune from the arguments of the two parties and they were judging on the person. To the extent Donald Trump has modified the Republican appeal to this kind of conservative populist fusion, it's interesting. I don't see stories about the nobility of the undecided at this point in the campaign.
No, not at all. In fact, what you hear mainly about is, why is anybody undecided? You have two controversial figures, well-known figures, but we also have two competing visions for America that were laid out very clearly. And frankly, I'm not sure that either of those visions are compelling to those undecideds yet, just like the personalities are not compelling to the undecideds yet. That's why I think this is going to go down to the wire. I think there are people out there, and know that there are people out there that are saying, gee, I wish we had two different candidates.
Well, we don't. We have the two that are in it, and we'll keep an eye on what happens. John Zogby tonight from Providence, Rhode Island. Thanks very much.